Hey everyone, Melissa here with the Creative Season. Well, it's been a wild week, so it was an incredible blessing to take just a couple of minutes to paint these gorgeous gladiolus with you. And it takes about less than 15 minutes to paint these beautiful flowers. This has definitely been a month where I am creating in the margins. There's not been a lot of time for painting, but I have found that just a few minutes during the week to take some time to stop and smell the gladiolus this week and to paint and to just enjoy creating something beautiful is so refreshing. So come join me. Hey everyone. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this beautiful gladiolus. We're going to do just a very quick watercolor sketch of a stem. I had been practicing last week with one of these beautiful bulbs that I had, and of course those exploded and they were beautiful and gorgeous. And this week I went to get some more gladiolas, and I actually found these red ones, which if you can see too, they almost have like a bit of orange in them as well, so a pop of it at least I can see coming through some of the bloom. So we're gonna break a little bit from our spring palette here and go and include some red. And if you want to do a full-on gladiolus watercolor, I have about an hour-long beautiful watercolor sketch. It's a full watercolor. I'll include the link below. It's a free class. You will get signed up from the email list if you grab it, but you can always unsubscribe. But it is there for you if you want to go deeper with our gladiolas, especially after today, and if you're really enjoying painting these gorgeous flowers. So let's go ahead and sketch. I'm using a micron pen. This is a 1. I actually want something a bit bigger. I'm going to grab an 8 because that way it will be just a bit easier to sketch with. I do not know if you can hear those birds outside, but they are rambunctious. They are really full of life and energy this morning. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start first just sketching out some of the flowers that I'm seeing here. First of all, I'm sketching the stems, and then I'm going to do the petals. The pen is going to hopefully helps you see this a little bit better. The birds are just wild this morning, just wild. I'm going to keep going down here. You'll also notice I am on some splattered paper. I just thought that might give a nice texture and background this morning or today, whatever time of day you are actually painting. And once again, I'm just going to go down. I've got one over here that's beautiful and it's bud, just really lovely. It's just starting to come out, so that's really pretty. Last week we did something and then here's our big one down here. We were doing a portrait right at the gladiolus, so we were painting it super up front, close and lovely and beautiful. And then this week we're backing out. Okay, there's my stems for this one in the middle there. If you can see those guys right here, I'm pulling this down here, and then the beautiful flowers coming out and then coming out this way. This is lovely. And then I want to grab that stem that's coming all the way out. Now, depending on how small you're painting this week, you may discover that you can go up. You can bring in more flowers or knots, or just a couple. And I'm going to go ahead and include the stem as it's moving up here. So it is just going off the side a bit, which I love. I like that continuing look. Okay, so now that I have that, you may hopefully see that fairly well. And again, this is just a sketch. I didn't put tons and tons of time. The lines are not hard. I'm going to go ahead. They're just soft lines, even a little bit scratchy. I do not see where I have laid down my favorite brush. That's okay. It's probably in my bedroom where I was painting the other day. So I'm just going to grab this brush that I have on hand, and I'm going to first grab my green, and we're going to start laying down some green. Now, what we're going to have to be careful is that if you've painted with me for a while, we talk a lot how green and red or green and pink, they all make brown. And we really don't want a lot of brown here, right? So we're going to have to be careful of that. I'm just moving down with my green here, and even over here, I'm looking at the beautiful, beautiful stem, and you can actually see some red and some purple in the stem. So I'm not going to paint the whole thing green. I'm going to leave some of it alone, and we might add some other colors in. We definitely will want to add some depth. This is going to be all beautiful red down here, and then I'm going to come up and then just underneath my flower. right there, add some more red. I'm sorry, add more green. I will take some additional green and have it go deeper in a couple of places where I know there's going to be some shadowing. And then once again, we're just going to leave that and let that go for a few minutes here. Just let it move around. There we go. Add a little bit more water and color so it starts to dance, and letting some of that color just go where it wants to. Okay. All right, now that I have that down, I'm going to go ahead, I'm actually going to grab an orange, and that is a cadmium orange right off of our beautiful spring palette colors. And some of the paint, you may notice, will pick up, depending how soon you've done your splatters. If you're doing some splatters, some of the colors will pick up, and that's fine. I don't let that bother me too much. All right, I'm going to go ahead and actually add a little bit more water and just moving this around here, and I should probably peek in the camera to make sure. Yes, you can see this too. Let me come in a little bit closer. Now, I'm going to be adding in some red on top as well, but I like to have multiple colors. I really feel like that gives a depth to the painting and to what we're painting. So kind of come over here, and then up here with this one, this one right here, we've got some add a little bit of orange. And now I'm going to go back in. I do have a cadmium red light on here, and it is pretty bright. I'm going to go ahead first, and I'll just show you. I'm going to mix it on over here with some yellow, with some of that orange. So we're using that same color. I'm going to get a little bit more. So it's getting pretty bright. There we go. And then I add a little bit more water, and then I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to start playing and really adding into the edges first. We want to somehow create some of those beautiful curves, right? You can see the beautiful curves and the different lines. These are not straight edged flowers. They have beautiful, beautiful edges to them, and I actually have another petal back here that I'm going to include. So I want to make sure that I am creating the sense of the organic shapes and the softness of this beautiful flower. So moving in here, I'm going to take some more red, add it to the orange, and then just drop it in, leaving some white spots too. We don't want to paint the whole thing in as if we're coloring something in. We want to let that watercolor dance and move around. And as we've talked about before, you get to decide what color you want your flowers to be. So, for example, if you were like me and in the store and weren't quite seeing the colors you wanted, or were just I was caught by this red. They didn't have any orange this morning. You can always do a different shade. Paint them a beautiful lavender color or lilac. All right, I'm going to move up here now and just come up. Those beautiful flowers, adding in right there. And again, I'm not over painting this. I want to be careful about that. Now you'll see too, I have some pink sprinkles or splatters. I don't have any orange or red. I have a little bit of orange, but no red. So I will be adding on some splatters as well. So just to make the whole painting sing. All right, I'm going in now. This one, again, just letting that paint dance. If you even want to grab some red, that's just red, bright red, and then start dropping it in as well into some of the areas where you want more of intensity. And again, you can see I'm just dropping it in. I'm not even painting per se as shapes. I am just dropping it in different areas and making sure we have beautiful shapes to our petals. And I'm going to come up here as well and move that around too. I'm going to come up high over here where we have this petal coming out, and it's wrapping around and letting that move in there, and it's coming really, really nicely. Let me back this up so you can see the whole thing, and you can see how I find this very relaxing, very, not difficult, right? This is not a difficult flower to paint. It seems difficult because it's very organic and there's a lot of shapes going on. But then you start to look hard and go, okay, this is not, we can do this. We can create this as really a likeness that's quite lovely. All right, I'm going to come back in with the green, and I'm going to come over here just to add a little bit more color where I have more shapes in my petals and my stems, I'm sorry. And I am going to take a bit of that orange, and where I can see a little bit, I'm going to just go up and down, right down here. And I got a little bit of red. I actually want to pull a little bit of red down and down here as well, letting it mix with the green so we get that almost that brown purpley look that we saw in, that you can really see in some of these stems. We're not going to go heavy on it, but I want to have that distinguishing feature. And this one got a little bit too much, and that's okay. What I can do is I'll take a dry paintbrush and I will just eat up some of that extra paint. There we go. And what I can do as well is then I can take another, we're going to sketch. Remember, I can do some damage to my pens when I do this, so be careful. We're going to go like this, create that sense of border. I'm going to grab some more green, whatever green you have, and come back and just touch that up. And that's a bit of a hooker's green, which is a bit cooler, and I'm going to pull that into some of these areas. Okay, so how many minutes have we been painting? I think, and my goal is to stick within about 15 minutes. We are painting within the margins, right? We're creating in the margins. And we are at 11 minutes. So this is looking really nice. I think this is lovely. When I let it completely dry and take everything off, it's going to be beautiful. Now the last thing I do want to do is I am going to add in some splatters. So I'm going to take a very small brush. This is a size 2. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pick up some orange paint, and I'm just going to splatter a bit of the orange. I'm going to take some of the red. You can see too, I'm just coming over here. I want to leave some of the areas nice and white, but I want to just add in some more splatters here. Again, take some orange, move that around in here, and then finally take some of the green, and I want to put that a bit up here too, and letting it go on the flowers. That is just fine. Okay, I think that's really, really pretty. We're going to let it dry. I might come in and do a little bit more, adding a bit more darker color here and here, but it's also pretty wet. So be just careful. If you've painted a little bit more dry than me, than I have, you may be able to get away with adding some more depth right in here. But if it does seem like it's a bit saturated and things are going to start going crazy on you, just give it a break, let it dry for a little bit, and then come back. But other than that, I think this is really lovely. In fact, what I'm going to do, I don't always do this, but let's go ahead, since we weren't painting out to the edges, I'm going to go ahead and take this off so you can see what it looks like. I know I'm not going to be adding too much more to this particular one. I may add some little bit of detail in the stems, but there we go. And isn't that pretty? You get that really nice clean edges. I can also do a little bit of trimming if I was uneven. But that's beautiful. And we have this gorgeous, gorgeous painting with the beautiful gladiolus. I hope you enjoyed that. I will see you guys again very, very soon. I hope you have a beautiful day.